It's all about passion, it's all about change. It's all inclusive every day of the week. When the world comes together, united as one, sharing stories through the eyes of View TV.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to What Matters. Hi, guys. I'm Jojo.
And I'm Jess.
And what do you know? We're your guests for the next half hour, maybe more. We'll try and keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks since our last show.
Yeah.
And Jess wasn't with me last week, 2 weeks ago.
Right, I was sick then. I'm a bit better now.
Yeah, she couldn't get out of it tonight, partly because we've got a really good guest and she really wanted to interview. Our amazing guest coming up is Nick Rushian. People might think it's Russian, but I learned that it's Rushian. And Nick Rushian is the Lord Mayor of Melbourne Candidate. I guess he's also known as the Nightlife King. And probably it's safe to say that he owns the Melbourne nightlife scene. And I think he's been a recent candidate that's sort of just come from nowhere and seems to be getting a lot of attraction. And so I think it'll be really, really good we wanted to bring him on. We know Melbourne's obviously going through a lot right now. I guess they've had the toughest lockdown laws and, the city of Melbourne is really, really struggling. So we thought we would bring Nick on, have a chat with him. Really want to know, what his plans are for Melbourne. How does he plan to revive the city? And more importantly, I know his focus is on small business. And I know through, COVID, the small businesses is what really, really suffered. So I think it's important to have someone like Nick who's going to hopefully come in and maybe make a difference and bring these businesses back to life.
Bringing the nightlife back to Melbourne. They've struggled so much, and a lot of our friends, they moved to Melbourne for the lifestyle. Amazing, the restaurants, the nightlife, and that's all crumbled during this COVID crisis. So I'm pretty excited to hear what Nick has to bring to the table. If you've got any questions, don't forget throughout the show you can post them on the What Matters page, and could pop up on the screen here. So
get involved, guys, and also let me know we are streaming live to Overplay from Indie TV. We're streaming live to obviously Facebook and YouTube. So guys, let your friends, let your Facebook family know, let your family know that you're here tuning in tonight. And if you've got any people in Melbourne, share them this live because the election is coming up, and your voice and your vote does count. So, but look, before we do bring on Nick, let's begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and where we gather and pay respect to the elders past, present and emerging of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations. So I guess without further ado, let's bring on Nick Rushian.
Being from an Italian background, we spent just so many years growing up down here on Logan Street. It breaks your heart to see all these shops just completely closed, wiped out, never to reopen again.
I go for the kiss.
They're all on their knees. For lease.
Victoria's road out of COVID is a long and winding one, and normal is some time off. Out of lockdown tonight, protesters have stormed.
First of all, the worst is yet to come. There's confusion over who ordered.
Residents and business owners in Broadmeadows are killed.
Leadership's just so out of touch with small business, so out of touch with hospitality. They're busy living in corporate boardrooms, trying to help us, but they're just so detached from what the small business owner is really going through. They're just miles away from us.
I'd occupy that. Can't sit back though while you're forming that. On my mind, our kids got bigger.
People entrust the office within your capable hands.
It's a very good question. Why would they trust me? Look, I guess it's a fresh perspective on Melbourne. There's career politicians, people who are just not in touch with community. And I guess that's me being a publican for all these years.
10 seconds.
I'm in touch with community. I know what they want.
And you have weathered the storm more than any of them, really, in terms of hospitality the last 6 months.
Yeah. Look, I'm the only business or small business owner amongst the candidates who are running for the position. So I know more than anybody what we're in. So I'll be giving a voice to all of our small business community.
Now, there's been...
Wow.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We're so excited for you to be here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm quite impressed, Jojo, that you did your research into how to pronounce my surname. I must say that's the first person who's got it right in a long time. So well done. Good start.
Oh, look, I think if you can't get the pronunciation right, Jesus, that's a good start, isn't it? Look, thank you so much for being here. I was really excited when I came across you. And quite funnily, I'm pretty sure I've been to your parties in Melbourne. We love Melbourne. We've been there numerous times. Obviously, we haven't been back this year or since January. So I guess, let's get straight into it, Nick. I guess for those who don't know you or do know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
A bit about myself. Well, firstly, my name is Nick Rusyan, as you pronounce it. Nick Russian is how it's spelt, but my background is of Italian heritage. Look, I've been a self-employed person for pretty much my entire life, and I'm most known for my background in hospitality. I've owned different bars and clubs over the course of the last 20 years. The most successful venue I had was a place called Adhd. We won many awards back when we had that business, and while I had that business, I set up some other business entities whilst I had that infrastructure around me, and we set up an events business called Together Events. We set up an educational business. We set up a recruitment business. We set up a number of different companies and sold the nightclub and just focused on those other industries. So I've got a rather broad knowledge across a number of different industries. I bought a new bar it's going to be called Bambi, a little while ago. We were supposed to open in around about April this year. COVID hit in March, so we didn't complete our renovation. We pulled everybody off the building site. We just thought, let's sit here and wait until we find out a bit more what's actually going on. Started back building again when the restrictions eased. Then we went into lockdown again. So again, we pulled everybody off site, and the business is there sitting in limbo, gathering dust and costing money, unfortunately. During that time, about 5 weeks ago, I think it is now, I was approached by someone from the City of Melbourne Council they approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in running for the position of Lord Mayor. They said at the moment they feel as though there's a current detachment between the current councillors and leadership and small business and community. And they suggested that with my extensive background across small business and being a publican, being involved with bars and clubs and events and everything, I'm continually in touch with grassroots community. They suggested that I'd be a good candidate to run. I said I'd go away and think and talk it through with my wife and with my my parents and my brother and my business partners, and I did that. And they all supported the idea of me running. I still wanted to think it through a little bit more, so during that time, the media got a hold of the story and somehow leaked to the media. And I thought, well, now that it's in the media, I'm going to post it on my social media and just to get a general feel from people on how they think if I did decide to go down these lines. And I had an enormous, rather overwhelming response from people. They were reaching out. Some people were pleading, and some people called me crying, which was quite confronting. Just from the despair they've been through in the last number of months, they just continue to say they feel like they have no voice at all, no voice whatsoever. So from the number of people who reached out and, really asked me to go for it, and with the support of my family and friends and everyone, I felt almost compelled to do something. So here we are today. Yeah, so that was 5 weeks ago, and I thought it over the course of a week and came to a decision. Okay, let's do it. Then the following week, I put together, mapped out a quick plan. When everyone else had 6 months to prepare and put their campaign together, I put mine together in a week. And we hit the ground running, and so far we've been very, very lucky. We've had a great cut through and a great response from everyone. And starting off so late behind everybody else, I started off as an outsider, and now I'm almost favourite on Sportsbet to win. So not that means anything, but that's how it's all panned out. So that's the background from where I've been to where I am now. So I hope I haven't crapped on too much, but that's the long-winded response.
Look, it's amazing. Like, I was watching your video back, and I think what got me was the Bring Back Melbourne at the end of your show reel there. And I think, what better person for the job right now than someone who is a small business owner and can, slot into the shoes of these people who are struggling right now. And I can tell you there is a lot of families, a lot of small businesses, they're owned by families. The whole family is employed through that business. And a lot of them aren't getting any government handouts or help. And that's what's really scary about this. You're going to just have, if nothing's done about it right now, you're going to have this whole industry of hospitality collapse. Boom, 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 boom. And we love to go to Melbourne, one, for the nightlife, for the beautiful restaurants, the food, like the culture. It's beautiful.
That's
it's amazing.
What makes Melbourne. So if you don't have the arts and the entertainment and the hospitality and the restaurants, unfortunately, that's the culture of Melbourne. 100%. And so I think
100%, and that's it. I've spoken about it quite a bit lately. Is you go to different states, you go to Sydney, you've got the Opera House or Bondi Beach or different tourist attractions there, or you go to the Gold Coast and you got that beautiful beach. But as you've stated, in Melbourne, you're coming purely there for the culture of the place, the laneways, the hospitality, the events, the restaurants, exactly as you said. And right now the guts has been absolutely ripped out of it, and it's the hospitality industry is on its knees. And as you just mentioned before, there's so many family businesses who are they've had their livelihoods just completely taken away from them. And they can't earn, and they can't provide for their family. Now they're losing their life savings as well, because they're continually, every week they're not open, they're dipping into their savings, and people have just been completely wiped out. So there's an enormous financial toll, but there's also an enormous emotional, mental health toll. It's just really sad to see down here.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did read that, if you should you be elected as Lord Mayor, you're going to donate half of your wage to mental health. So tell us more about that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, look, as I said before, there's just such a it's taken such a mental toll on everybody, from residents in community to business owners, and it's going to be a big problem moving forward, because at the moment the banks and everyone have, they've they've frozen deferred loans, and what's happening at the moment, people are just banking up more and more debt, or they're just eating more and more into their life savings. So the real consequences haven't hit. So give it another 6 months. It's just going to be shocking to see what occurs. So people are already under emotional strain. It's only going to get worse, in my opinion. So we've got a fantastic mental health package that we'll be rolling out, my team. But back to your question about me donating part of my salary, I thought to myself that our leadership in Melbourne at the moment, they continually say, in Daniel Andrews in his press conference, look, we're all in this together, we're all in this together, we're all in this together. And I think to myself, well, are we really in this together? You know, it's one thing to say that, and there's one thing to prove that. It's easy to say that if you've just, you know, after he's just given himself a pay rise, you know. So I thought to myself, do you know what? My family's always been about you've got to lead by example. And I thought it's the least thing that I could do would be to say to people, yeah, we actually are in this together. And if I get in, I'm going to donate 50% of my first year's salary towards mental health, to actually show to people that, yeah, look, I'm not in this for any other reason other than for the people. And yeah.
That's beautiful. Look, I just want to quickly let you know where I work. I have been serving a lot of Victorians that have just come out of their 2-week quarantine here in Brisbane. When I get to engage with them, I do have conversations with them about, you know, most of these people have actually moved. So they're moving in the drones. There's estimated 450,000 Victorians are planned to leave or have left already. And it's quite huge numbers. And I know they're quite huge numbers because I serve them daily at work. And it's a big concern. But the main reason why all these people were getting out of there was their mental well-being, that they needed to, their family, their mental health. Locking their kids in the house continuously, can't do anything, can't take them out. It was having a huge toll on a lot of these families, and therefore the best option for them, even though it was a massive one and an expensive one, was to move the whole entire family out of that state.
It's so sad, isn't it? It's so sad.
Yeah. What do you have to say to those families what do you have to say to those families that are leaving?
It's sad. It's so sad. I say to those people that they have to do what's best for them and their family. That's what they have to do, and that's what they're doing. They're choosing what's best for them and their families. And I keep saying this to a number of different friends who are reaching out and checking up on each other at the moment. You've got to put your arm around your close ones and check up on them, and make sure they're okay. Yeah. And for these people who are moving into state, this is what they've had to do for their mental health and also to financially survive. So they're two key driving factors. And the more I speak to people in Melbourne at the moment, I'm hearing more and more people moving up there to mostly Brisbane or Sydney, but mostly Brisbane.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true because I see it every day, and it saddens me. But people, they do need to take care of their mental well-being because that is a huge part of life for us. And I just want to ask you, Nick, how do you feel about Dan Andrews and his handling of the COVID pandemic in Victoria?
Look, everybody has their own opinion. If I'm going to be asked my opinion, I'll give an honest answer, and I think he's handled it terribly. I think it's been an enormous mismanagement of the entire process, and we've seen other states handle it in such a better way than what he has. And it's not a case of, sometimes when you get into debate over this, sometimes people can respond with, "Oh, well, if we open everything up, you're going to be responsible for everybody dying." I don't believe that's the best response. I really feel as though it can be just balanced so much better. Balance the economy, balance people's mental health, and balance the safety of people. We don't want anybody to die. We don't want anybody to die. But there is a lot better way of managing this, as seen in the other states. And the people of Melbourne, Victoria, who have reached out to me, and they're just appalled by how it's been handled, and the ongoing lies that continue to come out of his mouth when it comes to press conferences. It's mind-boggling what we've been seeing.
And that must be so frustrating for you, because you have so many different businesses obviously operating, and the small businesses are struggling. I want to know, what is your roadmap to helping these businesses? Because when you've got the lockdown laws, which is, I would assume that those lockdown laws might be outside your scope and your control. But what is your roadmap to helping these businesses once they can open up?
Yeah, you're spot on. Look, we're under we have to follow the laws of the state government, obviously, so you're spot on. But overall, the long-term plan is to really change the culture from within the council. It feels as though within council, I think that people who go into council always have the best intentions. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody, whoever sits on whatever side of politics, I think everybody has the best intentions for people. So I'll always say that. However, I feel as though the culture within council is, there's a lot of people who work in there who are career politicians or career public servants. So they've never, ever worked a normal job or worked in a small business. And because of that, they're out of tune with the struggles that small business and just general society go through on a day-to-day basis. So the long-term objective for me and my team is to have a cultural change mentally within the council. That's the ultimate goal. In terms of immediate goal, well, our immediate goal is to get our doors open, get all the hospitality venues back open, get the doors open, the tills ringing again. And also, because I'm involved with hospitality or small business, I have an understanding of what can work and what can't work. For example, in hospitality, we'll often get, but recently we've been given different policies. They say, okay, here you go, guys. This is what you guys are now going to follow, moving out of COVID, or here's the outdoor dining policy. This is how things are going to go moving forward, without any consultation with our industry. So my background is in small business. I know what works. If there is something that I don't know, I have immediate access to other industry experts. So again, we will consult and we will create roadmaps out of this situation together. On top of that, I've got a big, an extensive background in events, so I'll be working heavily with other event organisers and promoters to activate a number of different events and laneways and festivals throughout the city of Melbourne to start bringing people back into the city again and make it to become a habit again for them to come back into the city, because it takes time for people to get back into that habit of going there again and again. And whilst everyone's been in lockdown for all this time, we've all taken on new habits, haven't we? Rather than going to meet somebody for a meeting now, okay, Zoom saves us time. There's some good new habits, there's some bad new habits. So we need to start creating new habits for people to be coming back into the city. So I'll be working with a very, very strong events focus to drive people in, plus offering different incentives for other organisations to bring their staff back into the city as well. Because if you have to walk down Flinders Lane, one of our most iconic strips in Melbourne, it's usually just a vibrant, pumping place. And right now, it is an absolute ghost town. So we need to bring people back. So hence the reason why our overall campaign is called Bring Back Melbourne.
Oh,
God, that's amazing. You know what? I think if there's anyone for the job, I think you're a very good candidate, Nick, because you can relate so much to the people, and that's what I like, and that's what people like to see. I just want to know, I seen a couple of days ago, there was a video, I forgot his name, but the man opened up his soup business.
He owns Harry's.
He opened it up,
Very cool, yes.
and he was willing to cop the $10,000 fine. And I felt very, very, very sad for him, because he was on his last legs. He had no choice.
Yeah.
If he didn't open up that day, he would have lost everything and more. How do you feel about these small businesses trying to take the brunt and open up?
Look, I understand where he's coming from, because I can imagine there's him, there's so many other people where they're at a point where it's like, well, I've lost everything. I have no money. I'm racking up further debt, so I've got nothing at all. Now, here's my options. I can either continue to do nothing, continue to go further and further and further into a hole, or I can try and open my business to generate some revenue, and that revenue will at least pay to put food on the table for me for the next number of weeks. Okay, I'll cop the $10,000 fine, but I've got no money to pay for that $10,000 fine anyway. So, well, I'll worry about that $10,000 fine in 6 months, 12 months' time. And if I've got no money, well, I won't pay it then. If I've been able to survive by doing some things here and there, then that's what they do. So I'm not saying I condone that by any means at all, but as much as I don't condone it, I understand. I feel for them. I really feel for people that it's pushing them to a point where it's like, well, I've got no other option, but I need to open, or I'm gone. So it's so sad.
It's a do or die situation, and what I come to realise is a lot of these businesses, like him, the workers, they don't get JobKeeper. So his workers, the two that he hadn't had a single income since the COVID commenced. So how many weeks is that these people had gone without a single dollar to their name to pay for their rent, to pay for their food? Who's helping these people? I thought we were all in this together. Well, it's clear that we're not, because it's okay for another shop across the road to open.
And there was another lady who opened up her salon, and the shop next door is a dog grooming business. Who can open up their shops? They've been able to trade, and this has been the frustrating thing, is the inconsistency and the hypocrisy amongst how business is done, who can open, who can't open. And for me personally, it has felt like, people that are like, all for a lot of the lockdown laws are still working. They're still at home. They've got an income. They're still making money. In fact, they're saving money because they haven't been able to go out. They can still put food on their table. They just can't go visit their families. But you've got people like that who've got businesses and all these expenses, and it's been so heartbreaking. And it was, for me, I thought, I was excited to see these businesses taking back their rights and doing what they have to do, because unfortunately they're at that stage where they've got no choice.
Spot on. You're spot on, and you hit the nail on the head then when you said the people who are all for the lockdown. You're right. There's been no impact on their life. So cool. I get up, go to work every day. Nothing changes. Get paid. Come home. See the family.
Yeah.
Cool. Nothing changes. Yeah. Oh, it's my kid's birthday this week. Yeah, no problem. I've got money. Yeah, there we go. I'll buy him a present. Versus someone, they haven't left their house. They haven't seen anybody. They've been locked in. It's their kid's birthday. They can't afford to buy their kid a birthday present. Anyway, it's a debacle. It's good to see that we're slowly opening up this week, but it's still not fast enough. It needs to happen a lot quicker. The bigger issue is what's going to happen in another 3 months or 6 months' time. Say we do open up to a certain point. What happens when we go through another wave? Like you're hearing, if it isn't handled in the correct manner again, as it hasn't been recently. What happens if there's an outbreak? Or how about if it's just inevitable there's going to be another outbreak, because the more people who are out and about equals more people bumping into each other, which becomes inevitable that it's going to be spread. So what happens then? Do we shut everything down again? I think these are the things that really need to be discussed now, because people need to plan their lives around it. So, okay, well, if we're going to just shut everything down again, that means I'm going to close the business again. Whatever I'm putting my money into now, well, it's less for me to put my money into it because I'm going to, so there needs to be, in Melbourne, there's been continual talks throughout the media about, what is the roadmap out? What is the roadmap out? And our roadmap needs to really be a 6-month roadmap of, okay, well, if there is a further outbreak, this is our plan, X, Y, and Z. There's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have a plan, a solid plan, a firm plan, because from what I see, if you go back into a lockdown, unfortunately, Nick, there's going to be a whole heap more people they just had enough. Everyone's had enough. And I couldn't stay there and live through those conditions and restrictions and regulations. It's not living. It really isn't living. So I hope...
Sorry, I've just cut you off there. I was going to say I've spoken to some different friends who are doctors, and they've said they've been prescribing kids as young as 8 years of age with antidepressants. Kids at that age, like, come on.
Yeah. And I believe that. I did serve a customer a couple of weeks ago, and he made the decision to move his family. He had 3 kids, but one of his kids had ADHD. Not good for a family who has to lock down for more than 21 weeks. Not good at all. It was tearing the family apart. It was tearing his siblings apart. So for the mental well-being of not just his child, but the whole family, they had to get out of there ASAP. And he said it costed them an arm and a leg, but, what else could you do? Yeah. So, I'm just really, 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 really praying that the Premier or the Vic government have a solid plan for you guys to get through this, because, from what we're seeing, it feels like it's just the beginning of the mayhem to come, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really does, unfortunately. So fingers crossed we continue to receive some more positive news over the time ahead. And look, and if I'm in, if I do get voted in, the one thing which is great is that I'm, I will have direct contact with the Premier, and I will be putting my idea, and I won't be afraid to put them forward and all within reason, and put pressure on where it's required. So we're looking forward to working together.
Wonderful. Well, I guess if we've got any last words from you, Nick, do you have anything else you want to say to people? Why they should vote for you? Why you're the man for the job? And how they can connect you, or I guess it's easy how they can vote for you. Your name's on the ballot paper, and tick your name.
Well, look, the reality is, to be able to vote for me, you have to live within the City of Melbourne Council, the City of Melbourne. So that is, a lot of people don't understand, it's only a small section. So that's Melbourne CBD, North Melbourne, East Melbourne, West Melbourne, South Bank, South Wharf, Carlton, Kensington. I think that's pretty much it, So it's a small pocket. So step one, they need to be in that area. In terms of asking people to vote for me, look, I've never been a person to ever ask for someone to do this or to do that for me. I've always been of the thought process of people need to make their own decisions in life, and if they are going to make a decision, then they need to do their research into the people. And I feel confident to say that from all of my interactions with the millions of people that have come across me over the years working in pubs and clubs and bars and in business in general. I get along with people, I empathise with people, I know what people want, and I do the right thing by people. So the best thing for anyone to ever do is just to do your research into somebody, and they can make their decision from there. But it's just going to be a complete new perspective to politics compared to dealing with career politicians and career council workers. It's going to be a business angle. It's going to be about innovations, and it's going to be about the people. And that's what I'm here to do. So hopefully we'll have a bit of luck over the next couple of weeks, and we'll bring back Melbourne to the thriving place that it once was.
Oh, thank you, Nick. But I just want to quickly touch up on something. Before we started the show, we quickly tuned in with Nick, and we had to do a quick video and audio check. And what I loved about you, Nick, was you said to us, how much time do we have? Do I have time to go and quickly bath my kid and then come back? And I couldn't stop laughing. I thought, you know what, he's a great family man. Yeah, of course, go do the kids. You've got to keep them happy. And then you come back and we'll tune in and jump online. So I know that about you. You're definitely probably a brilliant father and a great family man. And those are the types of people we need running for these positions.
Thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate the nice words, and thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, and we wish you all the best. Hopefully next time we get you on, you'll be the Lord Mayor of Melbourne.
Fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Good luck. See you, Nick. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
what a great man. Yeah, I just thought I'd better mention that because I thought it was quite funny when he said, like, do I have time to go and bath the kid? I was like, yeah, you do.
And that's it. He's, down to earth. He's genuine. He's hardworking. He understands. He's worked in small businesses. He's built businesses. He's successful. He's worked across so many industries.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try not to get too much into politics, but I think nowadays, it's so important to know who our leaders are.
Yeah.
And to know what their plans are, and to
like they
know
said,
history
there's
as well.
a lot of people running for these positions, but they're so out of touch with the public. They're so out of touch with, what's really going on. So it's great to have someone like Nick in there, sticking up for his people, sticking up for small business, and trying his best, he's going to try his best to revive Melbourne and bring back Melbourne.
Yeah, and hopefully we'd love to bring back Melbourne. We love Melbourne. We want to be able to come to Melbourne and visit our family and our friends and go and experience what Melbourne has to offer. And I think, guys, when we're pushing for Melbourne to open up, it's going to be a bit of a reality, because a lot of those businesses aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
And so the longer we have these lockdowns, the longer these small businesses are closed, the more and more these small businesses that are run by families who've worked so hard, they're not going to have a business.
And so to exist.
We really, Nick, you've got our vote. Unfortunately, we're not in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But we wanted to bring you on. And guys, we like to bring on people that we feel are really, making a difference.
Yeah, making a difference in the community. So thank you once again, Nick, for being with us tonight. And I think that's all we have to say tonight on What Matters.
That's all we have to say tonight, guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Till then, you take care, be safe, and sending you lots and lots and lots of love.
Good night.
It's all about passion. It's all about change. It's all inclusive every day.